Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, my name is Donna. Hello. And for those of you who are not new, thank you so much for joining me today. This is the second video in my collection series, my updated collection series for 2019. And today we are going to be talking about what is over here and here. So this is blushes, these three sections here, and those two are contour, bronzer, so we're going to be talking about those today. So let's jump in. So the first blush set I have here is this guy here. This is the Tarte Blush Bazaar from, there's my camera, me, hello. This is my Tarte Blush Bazaar from not this last Christmas, but the Christmas before. I really enjoy Tarte blushes, so I jumped on this when I received it, and I did a video on this, this in particular, and it is probably my most watched video. I'm not really sure why, if I have to be honest, but I love this because there's multiple tones of blush in here. It's a great travel palette. You can take it with you and have so many different options for blushes. This one is probably my favorite. It's called Authentic. It's probably my favorite. In addition to the 8 blushes that are in here, you also have 2 highlighters. This guy here called Worthy and this one here called Whimsical. I prefer this one. It's a little more icy, and so therefore, you know, this kind of plays a dual purpose in my collection, but I like that I can take it with me traveling, and I've got both my blushes and my highlighters for that trip. And I've got several different options for blush. It is a little bit messy. I do like that it's got this little plastic guy in here to keep the pans separate from each other, but at the same time it kind of gets in the way, to be honest. But this is one of my favorite blushes. The next one I have here is my ABH blush kit in Gradient. When she came out with this blush kit, it was actually one of 2 different blush kits, and this one was the darker one, and then there was a lighter one that was probably more suited for my skin tone, if I'm being honest. But I love this blush kit. This is the blushes in this kit. This one is probably one of my favorites, but it is super dark. I like wearing it with a monotone, like purple eye look, purple lip, purple blush. It's really pretty. This one on my skin kind of makes me look dead, so I wear it more as an eyeshadow. I think I've only dipped into it like 1, maybe 2 times. You can kind of see a fingerprint there. But this one is also really pretty, really very beautiful terracotta blush, and this one kind of goes on my skin more like a bronzer. This one is the darker of the kits, and it has the Vegas Dusk Chocolate and Blackberry. It was made for people with darker skin than myself, which is whatever. I still like it. I love it. This one is newest to my blush family. So it's got 3 highlights in it, and it probably belongs more in my highlight drawer, but it is the Natasha Denona Bloom Blush and Glow palette, and this is what it looks like inside. These 2 are cream, and I love that it has this little flap here to keep the creams separate from the powders, and you can see it is new. I haven't even used it yet, but I'm excited to use it. And this was an item that I had in my Sephora Loves list, on my Sephora Loves list since right almost immediately after it came out, and I wasn't going to purchase it. But Mel Thompson did a review of it, and then I had to get it. It is just so pretty, and I love the packaging. This one is my NARS Tryst palette, Hot Tryst palette, and it came out, I believe, last Christmas. I love the packaging on this guy. It is just so tactile and awesome. And I love that you can see NARS in there, like straight on in the camera view, but like me looking at it from the side, I can't see that it says NARS. It's really cool packaging. And then you open it up and these shades are beautiful. Again, we have 2 highlights in here. That's the thing with my blush palettes. I really feel like for the most part, they can go either into the blush drawer or the highlight drawer, but I keep them in the blush drawer because I use them more for blush. There's 2 highlight shades in here and then these 4 blushes. These are real sheer blushes and you kind of have to build them up, but they are so beautiful and just illuminating on the face. They hide texture well. They're just gorgeous, gorgeous blushes. The next one I have in here is this Jouer Duo, and it is the Coquette Blush Duo with Seduce Me and Tease Me in there. I love the packaging of this Jouer. It's hard metal packaging, and those blushes, I love that it has a giant mirror in here, and those blushes are just beautiful. I use this one more than I use this one just because I like a little bit more color on my face, and this one just kind of, it's a beautiful blush, but it's more natural than it is anything else. This one is just so pretty. I'm wearing it today. I've worn it often, and it's a great traveling blush because you have a little bit of, you know, variety, but not too much variety. So this one I bought because of Samantha March. She started getting those Jouer blushes and absolutely fell in love with them. I've actually been thinking about picking up a couple more, if not even that giant one with the 6 shades in it, because the one with the giant one with the 6 shades in it, I think it's $44. And this one was $30, but I'd really want the rose gold one that has like the shimmery blush on one side and the like rose gold matte blush on the other. I really think I want that one so bad. The next one is this one here. And it is a BH Cosmetic Cheek Duo in Fiji Fun Cheek Duo, and this is what it looks like. I appreciate that these also come with a mirror, even though they're super cheap. I really like just swirling my brush all up in this, even though it's like two-toned. You have a nice light pink here and like a darker pink there. It just provides the prettiest illuminating blush. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's got a nice sheen to it. And it is a really pretty blush. It is super pigmented though. So these guys you have to go into with a super light hand unless you kind of want to look like a clown. Next we have this one, which is my Juvia's Place Saharan Blush Volume 1. It is the lighter of the shades, and these 2 shades here are like metallic-y or shimmery. And then the rest, the other 4 are matte. I really love this one. Can you guys tell that this is the color that I go towards mostly? I really like this one. I also really like this one. However, it is super orange. These are no different than the Juvia's Place eyeshadows. They are super pigmented. So if you want to not look like you've got this giant awful stripe of blush on it, you really have to go in with a light hand and tap off several times. Otherwise you're going to end up with like purple all down your face. But this is a really beautiful blush palette. The next one I have here is my Morphe one, and this is the 8C. So it's the Cool Pro blush palette, and this is what those blushes look like. They are very cool tone blushes, but again, this is probably one of my favorites. This one I've used more often than not. It's a really pretty, like, luminous brownish tone that is just super pretty. I really love these blushes. I think that they're just perfection. I am not a huge, like, huge Morphe fan, but these are beautiful blushes. I haven't tried this one yet, or this one. They just seem like super dark, but all the other ones here I have tried. These 2 here are rather like neutral, or natural. They go on my cheeks with like this natural flush to them. This one is a beautiful like blush topper. I feel a little more like it's a blush topper and would probably pair well with any of these three colors here. But this is just a beautiful blush. This is a beautiful blush. And a lot of them have a sheeniness to them that provides a real luminous blush look to them. This palette is kind of new to my collection as well. It is the Revolution Beauty Blush Palette Queen. These are also luminous blushes. They are just super, super, super pretty, and some of them perform more like a highlight than anything else. That one performs more like a highlight, and this one performs more like a highlight, but the rest of them are super luminous blushes. I find that they go on to the skin and give like this like wet look without looking awful, and they don't really sink into texture. So I think that they're just beautiful, and they kind of shocked me, honestly, because I wasn't expecting that out of Makeup Revolution. And my whole like thought process on them started with this one, which is the Makeup Revolution Golden Sugar 2 Rose Gold Blush Palette, and this is what this one looks like. This one does have a mirror. I was just really shocked by this. There's two blushes here that are matte, and the rest of them are luminizing. Some of them can work better as highlights on my skin than as blushes, but like my favorite two to mix are these two here. And they are just the perfect combination of pink and coral on my cheeks, and they provide just enough sheen that I don't have to wear a highlighter with these. Also, I'm certain that these two palettes would travel really well, but they are super messy. I don't know if you guys can see that, but they're just so messy. I do love them though, and if you guys are looking for a good blush palette that doesn't break the bank, those would be amazing. I think they're $10 a piece. So this guy here just has some of my blushes and then a couple highlights that are from, you know, single pans that I'm getting, say IPSY or whatever. These two are the same exact color from Ofra, but they look completely different. I don't understand that. But they're both Winter Rose. This one is the one that I've been using, so maybe that's why it looks completely different. But yeah, they're both the same shade, but they kind of look different. Beautiful, like natural-esque finish to these blushes with a little bit of sheen to them. They're just so pretty. This is also Ofra. These guys came out of an Ofra palette that I had. This one's called Pink Satin. And this is actually a Sydney Grace blush called Princess. And it is so beautiful. These are two Sydney Grace highlights. And I'll go ahead and tell you what they are, because I probably will forget to bring them into my highlight collection. But this one is Immortality, and this one is Melody, and they're just super, super, super pretty. They just don't fit into the single. I need to get a new magnetic palette for my highlighters because I don't have one big enough. This guy here I got in a BoxyCharm. And I wasn't super impressed with it to begin with. It's the Real Her Be Fearless, Be Limitless Blush Kit. Wasn't super impressed with this, to be honest, but I have used it quite a bit. This one has got some like glitter in it that's really chunky glitter, so I didn't really like that a whole lot. And this one here also has glitter in it, but it's not super chunky, so I mean, it's weird. This one also has glitter in it, but performs like a matte, and you can't even tell that the glitter's there. It's really weird. It's a weird formula. It's not my favorite, to be honest, but this blush can be a beautiful, like, blush topper, and this one can be a beautiful, like, natural blush. I haven't tried this one much. This is my Pretty Vulgar blush in Hush Blush. I got this in a BoxyCharm. This is a beautiful blush, but the packaging is crap. It's plastic. I mean, it's super cute, but it's crap plastic. I wouldn't take it traveling or anything. As a matter of fact, I got a highlight from the same brand in the same kind of packaging in my last BoxyCharm that was completely shattered. It just doesn't travel well. It's really crappy packaging, but that is a really pretty blush. One of my favorites. I use it often. This one is MAC Mineralized Skin and Finish in Stereo Rose. Also one of my favorite blushes. This was in my project pan last year, and as you can see, it's not even close to panned, and I used it almost every single day. I just find that these are the hardest blushes to pan. I mean, it's a mess, but this one is discontinued. I do not believe you can get Stereo Rose anymore, and this is like residue from the sticker that was on there from my project pan, but I love this blush. The next one I have is this ABH blush in Pink Passion. This is what it looks like. I like swirling all the colors together. I really do feel like these pans are too small to fit your blush brush into just one. So I just swirl them all together and put it on my face. I really think it's beautiful, and I love the packaging on this guy. It's just kind of, the ABH symbol is just kind of embedded in there. It's so pretty. And then I also have this blush trio by ABH, which is in Cocktail Party. And it looks like that. That one I'm a little more scared of because of that color there. But this pink is really pretty. This brown is pretty on its own. So I just need to, you know, wing it one day. This is the next one here. This is a Tarte Double Duty Beauty Blush and Glow. And I got this in a Tarte kit. One of those, you know, $60 for 6 full-size or 7 full-size items, whatever it is. So it does have a blush and a highlighter in it. I haven't even used this guy yet. I don't even think I've swatched it, but it is beautiful. This one used to be my ride or die. This is the Too Faced Papa Don't Peach. It does have a mirror on it, and this is what it looks like. You can tell it's kind of trashed. I don't think it's old, but I did used to keep it in my bathroom, so it's got some moisture spots in it. I mean, it is old. Let's not kid ourselves here. It is old, but it's got some moisture damage, but it still performs really well. And it's got this great luminosity to it that, again, is a blush I can wear without having to dip into a highlight, which is nice. Because I'm older, the more powder I put on my face, the less good it looks. So if I can get away with an illuminizing blush and not have to wear a highlight also, that's awesome. Even though I love highlight, it's like my favorite thing. This is a Laura Geller Baked Blush and Brighten that I got from BoxyCharm. It says sample not for sale. It is in Tropic Hues. It is a full size though, so I just think it says the not for sale on there, so you can't return it. But this is it, and I love the marbled effect of it. It is a baked blush, so it's got that dome to it. It is just so pretty, and every single time I wear it, I find that it performs in a different color. Like that's the one thing I don't like about it, to be honest, but also like about it all at the same time. It could be, you know, super pink, it could be super coral, it could be super mauve. It's just a really pretty blush. I am thinking about getting some more in that sale that's going on at Ulta, because they're on sale for $16 a piece. So I want to get a couple more. This is the Baked Blush and Brighten in Cherry Truffle. This one you can't get anymore. And this one is actually what created my love for the Laura Geller Baked Blush and Brighten, because it's a really pretty, like, darker burgundy color, but it shows up on the skin like this just really beautiful, luminous, dark mauve tone. It's so pretty. I got this one recently. I don't think I've even used it. It's the Filter Blush Baked Cheek Color in Illuminating Rose, and it just intrigued me. So I had to pick it up. It is super pretty. I like I said, I haven't even tried it yet as far as on my face goes. I have a couple of cream blushes here. I have the Alouette Face Paint Lip and Cheek Tint that I got in a BoxyCharm. It is really die hard, like berry colored. I am scared to use it on my cheeks. And then I have this Milk Lip and Cheek product in Work. It's just a deluxe sample size, and that's what it looks like in there. That's what it looks like. It's really pretty. I've recently started to fall in love with cream blushes. I just think that they blend out so perfectly beautiful. So I picked that up in a Milk sampler on Sephora over the holidays. So next in my blushes, we have this guy. It's just a deluxe sample size of the Tarte Amazonian Clay 12-Hour Blush in Party. This is a real subtle, beautiful, natural type matte blush. Then I have this guy that is an e.l.f. cream blush in Rose Royalty. And I have only used this a handful of times. And I started using it before I really got fond of a cream blush. So I see that being used more in my future. And then I have this Note one, which is from BoxyCharm. It is in the color Desert Rose. It's a nice like terracotta color. It's very beautiful. I have this one by IPSY that I got in an IPSY. It is in the color Beach Rose, and it is actually a really pretty color. It kind of reminds me of that Note one though, but a little more brown. This one also by IPSY, also from an IPSY, and this one is in Peach Honey. It's actually a blush duo. If you swirl them both together, they're super, super pretty. And they're also super luminous. So if you're not into a luminous blush, you would hate that. This one is new to my collection. I haven't even tried it yet. It's a deluxe sample size of the Milani Rose Powder Blush in Romantic Rose. I love the rose imprint on it, but I haven't tried it yet. This I got from BoxyCharm. It's a loose blush by Studio Makeup, and it is in the color Luminous Loose Blush. I don't use loose blush very often. This is really pretty though. I don't know if you guys can tell in that cap, but it goes on a really beautiful like dusty rose color. But this is the problem I have with loose blush. Like I feel like I pick it up on my brush and then swipe it onto my cheek, and before I have time to like blend it in, it just creates this stripe, which is why I have a hard time with loose blush. This is a super pretty color. I just don't wear it very often. Then I have this one, which is an Essence Satin Touch blush, and this was my go-to for quite some time. It is in the shade Satin Coral. I believe I picked it up in an IPSY, and it's just super pretty. I feel like blushes will last you forever. Because that one I used to use all the time, you can't even tell. This is a blush that I got in an IPSY, and it is by Bang Beauty, and it is in the color Smoked Peach. That is its color. I love that it has a little mirror, but it is definitely a dupe for the, oops, sorry guys. It's a dupe for the Papa Don't Peach blush for sure, because that's exactly what it looks like on camera, but it also on your face reminds me of that. Maybe a touch more pink is exactly what it reminds me of. These I got in a little like blush thing that I picked up from Benefit at Ulta during the 21 Days of Beauty like last spring, so like a year ago. This is a mini, like a super mini of the Rockateur, which was my favorite for a very long time. I believe it's just a very pretty cheek product. This one is a mini of Dandelion by Benefit, which is really, really pink for me, but super pretty. This one is a mini of Gold Rush, which is a nice corally gold color. It's definitely got some luminosity to it. It's super pretty. And this one is a mini of California. And if I'm being honest with you, I have to say that this is the right size for a blush. I just don't feel like you go through blush very much. As a matter of fact, going through like my inventory series, I was like, God, you don't need any more blushes. These blushes will last me the rest of my life. This is one of the two Milani blushes I have. This one is their Baked Powder Blush in Berry Amore, and it is just a super pretty, like, corally color, which I love. It's very luminous. If you're not into luminous blushes, you would hate these, but it's super pretty. And then this one is in Luminoso, which is my favorite of the Milani baked blushes. And it seems like it's everybody's favorite of the Milani baked blushes, honestly. This one is a really pretty, better coral color. There's not a huge amount of difference between the two, but this one on the face appears a little more natural and a little more luminous. So these two blushes I forgot because they were in my project pan. This one is the Benefit Posy Tint. I've had this forever. I never use it. It is a liquid blush. It is in my project pan to try and convince me that I need to use it and get it out of my collection. And then this one is also in my project pan. It is by Peak, and it is the shade Abu. I quite enjoy this blush. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I have used quite a bit of it over the last several months, and I really quite enjoy this blush. It is a really pretty blush that just goes on super naturally. Now we're going to move into this side of my drawer, which is my contour and my bronzers. But first, we're going to talk about the ones that are in my project pan for this year. And that is this guy here. This is the Butter Bronzer in just bronzer. It's just the first one that they came out with. I love this. It's probably one of my favorite bronzers. It's almost gone, which I'm so excited about because this is the second time it's been in my yearly project pan. I feel like it's lifting up on the edges there, and it will be gone soon. But I ended the year last year with like this space right here that's kind of dark, gone. So I've used up all of this in the last several months on this project pan. This is one of my favorite bronzers. And then I probably won't repurchase it though, if I'm being honest. I have so many. This one is a Bare Minerals bronzer in Faux Tan. It is a loose bronzer, and just like with loose blush, I have a hard time using it because it's loose and I can't like blend it out as easily as I want to. I do like Bare Minerals, but I don't know. There's something about this that I have a hard time with. I like their like face powders. Their Mineral Veil is amazing, but I used to swear by this bronzer and now it's way too orange for me. But we're gonna try and use it up. Okay. So then down here we have this guy. It is my Lisa Frank bronzer. Lisa Frank X Glamour Dolls bronzer in Bitten and Bronzed. It is a matte bronzer, and I use this so much. This is probably my daily bronzer right now. I just love the tone of it. It's really pretty on my skin. It goes really well. It doesn't appear too orange on my skin, which I like, and I use it so often. Then I have this Too Faced one, which is the Chocolate Soleil. This is pretty much everybody's seen this bronzer. I think I've used it once, maybe twice. I picked it up at TJ Maxx for super inexpensive because, you know, the packaging change and whatnot. So, again, it is the Chocolate Soleil. I do like it. This one is the Too Faced in Snow Bunny. This one is kind of a luminous bronzer, which I don't typically use a whole lot of luminous bronzing, but it can perform as a blush or a bronze or kind of like a topper. It's just really pretty. I have used it one time. The next one I have is the ABH bronzer in Rich Amber. I love this bronzer. I find that it is just a really nice bronzer on my skin. It looks a little dark, but it works really well with the yellow in my skin tone. And then I have this one by Morphe, and it is called Celebutante. It is a bronzer, so it's got two different shades in there, a lighter and a darker. And this one is more of a like illuminating one. It's got a little bit of sheeniness to it. Then I have this one, which is another Physicians Formula bronzer. It is in Peachy Glow, so it's got a little bit of peachiness to it and a little bit of glow. I don't really find that it is the most amazing bronzer, but I have used it on top of like a blush or my bronzer if I've gone too far with it, just to tone it down a little bit and give it a little bit of sheen, and it is really pretty. It's right here in my hand. Then I have this, which is more of a contour stick. It is the Sculptor Contour Face Slenderizer by Tarte. I got this in another one of those kits. I just feel like it's way too red for me to use as a contour. So I'm trying to figure out what to do with it, but I've used it, so I can't just, you know, give it to somebody unless it's my daughter. Then in this Z palette, I have this, which is an Ofra bronzer. I think it's just, well, the Z palette's not going to let me out. This is an Ofra bronzer, and then this is a banana powder by Ofra as well. So like I use these for contour quite a bit. I have the Marc Jacobs Tantastic Omega bronzer. This is an amazing bronzer, but if I have to be honest, I don't think it's worth, I mean, there's a lot of product in here, so it's worth it, but the cost of this is just astronomical, and I don't use it enough. So I could have spent that, you know, $60 on something else and would have been just as happy. This is a Pure Sculptor, and the only reason why I kept this, okay, so I got this in BoxyCharm, and the only reason why I kept it is because I ripped it right here, and I was going to put it into a giveaway and ended up not, because I ripped it right here. But I have to tell you, I use this so much. If you guys cannot tell, it is destroyed. It does have two highlights here and two like sculpting powders. I use this one more than that one, and it does look to have a little bit of like moisture damage from being in my bathroom at one point in time. But I use this all the time. It is a beautiful sculptor. And if you guys have been around for a while, you know that I say that Pure and I have a love-hate relationship. That's one of the items that I got from Pure that I absolutely love. So, and the next thing I have here is a City Color contour palette. I believe I got this in IPSY. I think I've used it once, and I absolutely cannot stand it. It's got a highlight, a bronzer, and a contour in it, but I don't find that any of these shades is amazing, if I'm being honest. This is far too icy for me and my skin tone. This makes a great bronzer, but this is really, really orange on my skin. This we got in BoxyCharm. I don't know if you all remember the like bronzer gate, but this is a awful bronzer. It doesn't matter where you put your brush, you're not going to get the tone of bronze that you really need. These two shades over here are far too pink, honestly, and this one is far too orange. And then you've got these two stripes of gold right there in the middle, and that's not overspray. I mean, it looks like overspray because it's kind of all over the place from me swiping my brush through it, but it's not. It's really gold, and it goes on your face really gold. This one I bought for $1 at Ulta at one point in time, and it is the Bronx Color Contouring to Go. So this is a nice little like contour palette, but what I didn't know when I purchased it is these are cream, and I didn't like really get into cream products until recently, so I used it once and then quit using it. I think I'm going to take it with me on my next trip out of town and see how I like it. Bring it back up as something that I've used, of course, so that I have something I like. This is the Naked Urban Decay Flushed. It is a bronzer, highlight, and blush. I have it in here because I use it more for the bronzer side than I do for these two. That blush is just way too pink for me, and I really do like this highlight. It is a really pretty highlight. If I'm using this bronzer, I will break out that. I'll use that highlight as well. But I just don't use that blush at all. This is a Mary Kay bronzer that I absolutely loved at one point in time. It is a super luminous bronzer. You just swipe your brush in there a billion times. It is like really coppery. It's a really pretty blush, but I'm sorry, bronzer. But it is super luminous and super like sparkly. I don't know if you guys can see that. So I had a hard time. I used it a long time ago, like when I was younger, and then quit using it because of my old skin, and now I'm getting into a more luminous type blush again, so I might pick it up and drag it out again. So these two guys came with the 4 blushes. I have a Hoola Light and a Hoola by Benefit. I'm sure everybody's seen them. There's the Hoola. And this one is the Hoola Light. Like, obviously, I haven't used the Hoola Light because that might as well be a banana powder on my skin. I don't get the hype that Hoola gets. This is a Becca Sunlit Bronzer in Capri Coast. It is just a sample size bronzer, and it is a shimmery bronzer, so it's just a little guy. Great for travel. Then I have this guy here, which is the Tarte Double Duty Beauty Contour and Highlight Palette. It does have a contour shade and a highlight shade. I do love this contour shade. I also really love this highlight shade. I just forgot I owned it, to be honest. I have the Tarteist Pro Glow by Tarte. It, you'll see, has never been used. I have stuck my finger in that guy once, but yeah, it's never been used. This one is a cream product. So again, I just recently got back into cream product, or got into cream products, I guess I should say. So maybe I'll take this with me traveling next time. It does have 4 highlights in it, so it should probably live in my highlight drawer more than this drawer. But I know that it's got highlights in it in this drawer. But I don't know why I do the things I do. I just keep it in here because that's what I feel like I'd use it for most. The next one I have in here is the Park Avenue Princess by Tarte. I got this in my first BoxyLuxe box, and this is called the Chisel Palette. You guys probably won't be able to see that because of the mirror on the back, but this is a beautiful palette. This is all raised right here, and it is just so pretty. This is actually why I signed up for BoxyLuxe. And then there's the palette, which I have never used. These two are shimmery bronzers, so I'm not sure how those will pan out. These two are matte, and then you have like a couple banana powders over here, or highlighters, if you want to call them highlighters. But I don't think that they're shimmery. I have like dug my fingers into both of those, and they are very matte in performance. So I would use them more as like a banana shade or a brightening shade, not as a highlight. And then the last one in here is my Kat Von D Shade and Light contour palette. And this guy is like incredibly used. I used these two shades in conjunction with each other an awful lot, and then just went to this one as my face started losing like the tan over the summer. I never used this shadow or this shade over here. I don't know really what I'm going to do with this in the end. We will see. These shades up here hardly get any use, but this is that, and it is a very well used palette. That was the end of my blush slash bronzer drawer. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope that you love collection videos as much as I do, because I've got quite a few more drawers to go through. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. It really does help our channels out here in the YouTube community. And I really hope that you want to stick around for a while. I would love to have you as part of my crazy midlife crisis here, and be able to show you the rest of my collection and see you down in the comments section. Let me know which of these products y'all have. Let me know which ones you don't have but you're interested in hearing more about. Let me know how you feel about the products down here that you do have, that you know, use, and that maybe I don't use, because there's an awful lot in here that I do not use. Thank you guys again so much for joining me, and until next time, bye guys.